Meteorologist Danielle Grant here in the 9 News Weather Center with a weather update for you. So far, so good today. The sunshine is out, temperatures a little cooler. The one caveat again to the forecast that we're going to have to be dealing with, the strong winds out there. I know, buckle up. Today marks day 16 in a row that we have been tracking high fire danger across Colorado. 16 days in a row with red flag warnings going across the entire state. Today, well, we are not looking at much rain, no snow, certainly in the forecast. I wish that was not true because we desperately need it around here. We have only had 100th. That's like nothing so far to kick off the month of April, our driest start to an April since 1963. You can see the bright blue skies out there. This is our live camera in and around Boulder, checking out the Flatirons. It looks good, but the winds are starting to pick up already at this 11 o'clock hour. In Boulder, 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts, out at DIA 25. Of course, you can kind of see by the coloring contours, Berthoud Pass, looking at wind speeds almost upwards of 60 miles per hour, and unfortunately strong northwesterly winds cruising across the far eastern plains, where we're looking at 20 to 35 mile per hour gusts, and unfortunately they only will get stronger as the day goes on. We do have fairly low humidity values across the state too, running in that 20 to 30th percentile, and as the afternoon wears on, once again, we're going to be watching those drop quite a bit too. Right now, our current temperatures staying in the upper 50s, low 60s into northern Colorado around Fort Collins and Greeley. If you head up in and around the foothills, that's where we have temps sitting in the lower 40s, like in Walden and through Granby. But again, the biggest story today, with the heat, with the low humidity values, with the strong winds, will unfortunately be another day with red flag warnings. They go into effect around lunchtime at noon, so within the next about 50 minutes. You can see the far northeastern corner of the state right there along I-76 going through Logan County. We're going to be looking at wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour, and then the further south you go through Colorado Springs, Pueblo, 30+ mile per hour speeds, and then around the San Luis Valley, wind gusts upwards of 35 to 40 miles per hour. So that's also a spot that we're going to be keeping a close eye on for any kind of spark that happens. And unfortunately, with these strong winds, it can certainly take any sort of fire and run fast. We're now at 57 out of DIA. The winds out there actually out of the east about 10 to 15 miles per hour or so, but I anticipate them once again kicking up as the afternoon goes on. Daytime highs this afternoon staying in the lower 70s. I know yesterday we were in the upper 70s, lower 80s across the metro area, so a little cooler today. We'll take what we can get, right? As you look on HD Doppler 9, not a ton going on across the state. Few high-level clouds kind of around Routt County. Otherwise, most of the moisture to the east of us and then way off to the west coast into Washington, Oregon, Northern California. They're getting some really nice rain, some snowfall cruising into that system, slowly making its way into Colorado as we look ahead toward the weekend. Tonight we're down to 42. We'll call it partly cloudy. Again, the winds will back off a little bit overnight, more so between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Certainly a bit more manageable, right? Overnight lows staying fairly mild with the winds out there. A few clouds kind of helping to insulate us, so to speak, as the numbers only drop to the upper 30s and low 40s here for the city. So here is the Futurecast. I'm going to start it off about 5 o'clock. Again, you can't see the wind, but that really is the biggest story for us. The clouds will come and go as the evening wears on, and tomorrow morning it's a sunny start to the day here in Denver and up in the mountains, bright blue skies. But look what's cruising in around the panhandle of Oklahoma and up through Kansas. They get in on some moisture from the Gulf that cruises in right there around I-70. So if you are heading all the way out there, you might find some rain tomorrow afternoon, but unfortunately the storm system just stays to our east. We're not looking at any rain, no wet weather in the forecast, at least for the next couple of days. So stormy skies off to the west, off to the east, high pressure anchor right in the middle, so that's keeping us hot and dry, and once again kicking up the winds. There is that little system that just kind of cruises in into Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, looking at some rain showers late tomorrow night. For us, it is just the winds that we're going to have to deal with, and once again a day with red flag warnings going across parts of Colorado. Tomorrow about 78. We'll call it mostly sunny. You'll notice the winds will be ticking up just a bit out of the south, 10 to 30 miles per hour, more so those gusts around 30 to 35, but it looks like we could be soaring into the lower 80s around Greeley, 70s off to the plains, upper 50s into the 60s up in the mountains too, so another mild afternoon out there. We'll hit about 75 in Castle Rock, low 80s in Little Middleton, with some upper 50s around Winter Park and Netherlands. So if you're looking for a cool off, certainly the mountain's the place to be. Unfortunately, as we look ahead toward Friday really looks to be the worst of it as far as the winds are concerned. Plus, we'll get the heat coming our way too. A high of about 82 on Friday. I would not be surprised if we have red flag warnings going across much of the Front Range, Denver included, and that really is the day that I will be hammering home that we really have to be vigilant here across the state. Excuse me. Looking ahead toward the weekend, yes, some relief is on the way, certainly in the temperature department, but also we do have a chance of seeing hopefully a couple of isolated showers. Fingers crossed, right? We could use it around here. As I showed you, we've only had 1/100th of an inch out at TIA so far this month. So fingers crossed for a couple of rain showers to cruise through a good bet Saturday afternoon and again on Sunday. If the system lingers, we might find maybe a couple of snow showers closer toward the Palmer Divide, but again, not much accumulation. That system clears out and we are well on our way to the 70s yet again as we look ahead toward next week. Right now, next week does not look quite as gusty out there, but still, we'll be keeping a close eye on it. Thanks so much for tuning in and getting a quick weather update. I, of course, will have my full forecast yet again coming up tonight, or I should say this afternoon, not tonight, this afternoon on the networks of 9 News starting at noon. And I'll be on Facebook too, so join me there at 12:30.